Hey everybody, this is Brian Davis, Mr. Buys a Lot. We're going to bring you a what we purchased in Indianapolis. This will be a part 2 of the video that we already posted of what we bought for $39,000. So I decided to show you guys, and I've had a few people email asking like what all did we get. So I've decided to show you guys a brief going through. This will be part 2. There will be multiple parts of this video because we did buy a lot of stuff obviously for that kind of money. But we'll show you guys. I'm going to try to do this on the camera. So these are window cards and lobby cards. It's 1940s. Salute for the Three, 1943. They've applied them and put plastic over them. I have to take them out of these to ship them whenever I sell them. This is a 1944. Good Night, Sweetheart. Obviously, they're not all done. Happy Land with Don Amici. This is a 1942, He Hired the Boss. 1943, shows you this was playing in Bailey Theater. This is Adolphe Mignot and Martha Scott. Monty Woolley, Grace Fields. This is 1943, this is a pretty rare card. And Holy Matrimony. 1945, Love, Honor, and Goodbye. I Love a Soldier with Paulette Goddard. It's 1940s as well. Edie Was a Lady, so pretty nice. So Burlesque Queen. This is 1944. Abroad with Two Yanks. Shows what movie theater it was from. This is Foreign. Jennifer Jones, Charlton Heston, and La Fleur do Desir. This goes this way. This one's John Wayne and Martha Scott. In Quando Una Mujer. That one is from 1959. And War of Wildcats was what it was in English. This is Eva Gardner and Dirk Bogarde. The Angel Wore Red, 1960. So 1944, Eve Knew Her Apples. The Racket Man, 1943. Passport to Suez, 1943. The Part and 40 Thieves, 1944. Mr. Winkle Goes to War, obviously 40s. 1940s also Roger Tory and Last of the Gangsters. Man from Frisco, 1944. The Goodfellows, 1944. Okay. And we'll go to, I gotta stand up for a second. So you got Passage from Hong Kong with Douglas Fairbanks, or Kirk Douglas and Leslie Fairbanks, sorry. Paris After Dark, 1945. Strange Affair. This Island Is Mine, 1943. Salute to the Three, 1943. The Port and the 40 Thieves. This is a duplicate of that one. Murder in Times Square. Virginia Bruce is in this one. Love, Honor, and what does that say? Bollocks. Goodbye. Okay. Bob and Lucy. Bob Hope with Lucille Ball. And you can see up here they actually wrote when the show was being held in 1961. Jealousy. Joan Davis and Kansas City Kitty, 1944. This is an Allentown Fair poster that I added into this. Dangerous Passage. Behind City Lights from 1945. That's actually a really good poster. An Angel Comes to Brooklyn. Abroad with Two Yanks. The Eve of St. Mark. Road to Alcatraz. This one's 1942. This one's Robert Denay in The Young Mr. Pitt. This one's a newer one that he did. There's a few newer ones here and there. Three Little Sisters. And Baxter and Joan Kodak in 1944. Sunday Dinner for a Soldier. Gracie Fields. And Molly and Me. Tomorrow, The World. Yeah, Irene Dunn, Alexander Knox, and Charles Coburn in Over 21, 1945. New Wine. Getting Gertie's Garter. Say that 3 times fast. Getting Gertie's Garter, getting Gertie's Garter, getting Gertie's Garter. Eve Knew Her Apples, another 1945. I think you have 2 of those. Then you get into, these are a little larger. This is a half sheet for 20,000 Eyes. This was another piece that he had, just a piece of fantasy art. So when we bought the entire storage unit, it was a little bit of everything. And there was a ton of movie items, which you guys will see in probably 3 videos it'll take to do all of the movie stuff. And these are 1 sheets. These are 41 by 21, or 40 and 3/4 by 21 inches. This is 1956. Make sure that they show completely on the camera. They do not. Sorry about the glare. Pam. Yeah. Can you put the door down, please? Yep. So this is the Little Savage. This is from 1959. Sorry about the glare. There you go. See a little bit better. This one's Charles Starrett as the Medico in Thunder Over the Prairie from 1955. Some of these are just gorgeous. They're like artwork. So this is Kidnapped from Robert Louis Stevenson's 1946. Savage Guns. This one's 1962. This one's really cool. I like this one a lot. This one is Sabu in Jaguar from 1955. This one is Jane Mansfield, Will Success Spoil Rock Hunter. Also had Tony Randall in that movie. You got Thunderbirds, 1952. We have a couple of those. And these are all original. Woman Obsessed from 1959. This one's Earl Flynn in The Warrior. That one's 1955. International Counterfeiters. That one's 1956. This one is Charles Bronson in Machine Gun Kelly. That one is from 1968. Sorry about that glare. So, Mail Order Bride from 1964. Bing Crosby, Man on Fire. You have Some Like It Hot, Marilyn Monroe, from 1980. Yvonne DiCarlo and Tony Martin, Peter Lorre, in Cashba. That one's 1948. This one's a cool one. This one is 1954. It is John Wayne in The Cowboy and the Girl. Cool 1940s look to it. Ozzie Nelson and Ruby Keeler. And that one is Sweetheart of the Campus from 1941. Dean Martin and Jerry Lewis in 3D Money from Home. That was 1954. Les Mirabels. Man Trap. David Jensen and Stella Stevens, and that one is 1961. This one's really cool. I really like this one. It has Gorgeous George, who is a world-famous wrestler, and it's Alias the Champ from 1949. Slide this back a little bit. Abbott and Costello, Meet Captain Kidd, 1952. Buck Jones, 1935, in Sunset of Power. This one is 1949, Ranger of Cherokee Strip. This one is Johnny Mac Brown, another very famous cowboy back in the day. This is probably 1943, I think. Branded a Coward. Shelley Winters is in this one, Cash on Delivery. That one's 1956. Last Stagecoach West is 1957. 18 and Anxious. The Wind Cannot Read. That's 1960. 7 Were Saved, 1947. I have to keep checking and making sure that most of it is on camera. I Don't Dare Show My Face. That's from 1958. This one's a really cool one. I like a lot of the 30s and 40s stuff. El Paso Stampede with Alan Rocky Lane. It's 1953. Fury at Showdown, 1957. It's a Scream, The Laugh Affair of the Ages, Clark Gable and Carol Baker, But Not For Me, 1959. A little risque here. Calendar Girls. Another sexploitation, I guess is what you would call this. This is Classroom Teasers. So it was obviously a rated R movie in the 60s or early 70s. Come Next Spring, 1956. And these are going to get a little bit closer So Ray Corrigan and Max Terhune in the Range Busters and Cowboy Commandos. I'll lift it up so you guys can see the bottom. Then only a couple more of these. So Debbie Reynolds, Jane Powell, and Edmund Purdom in Athena. Cool poster. Something for the Birds. These are all in great shape. He did take and he has them on like a foam core board, and then he took and put plastic over them and then tape to make these frames just to give it a good look. It's actually really hard to take them apart, but I do it and then we fold them the way that they were originally folded before shipping. This is 1941. Regular Fellows, which was also a comic strip, and that is Alfalfa from Little Rascals, or Our Gang, whichever one you want to see. Robert Mitchum and Jane Russell in Macau. That one is 1952. This one's very cool. The Lost Continent. That one's 1949. This one's Kirk Douglas and Scallywag. This is a little bit newer, 1973. Marlon Brando in Sayonara. I'm sorry. And is that it for this group here? Yeah, I believe so. Oh, one more. One more on this side. 1957. Spoilers of the Forest. So those are all original movie posters. And now I will set the camera up to show you guys some of the window cards, press books, and inserts. And this is a small portion of what we bought. We purchased for $39,000 in Indianapolis when I was out on the trip. You guys saw that video, but we do buy large quantities and collections, so I thought it would, shed some light on it, because you guys saw the comic books that came from this. You did not see the pulp magazines, which we sold. So the pulps and the comics so far have got us back about 2/3 of our money, and so we're still into this for about another $12,000 to $15,000. You guys are going to see posters and stuff like that. I've also sold some other miscellaneous items for another $3,000 or $4,000, so we might be about 10 grand still left into this deal. There are some comic books left that did not go out to the first load, and then there's a ton. There's probably 1,500 plus movie posters. This is just what I brought over to the warehouse to show you guys for this beginning part of this series that we'll show. Okay, let me switch you guys over to the table and I'll be right there with you. Okay, I got you moved over. You can see this is window cards. I will try to bring them into focus as best I can. So got Bob Hope, Rhonda Fleming, Dick Clark. Some of them are double-sided, so I will move the book over just a little bit so you guys can see. Behind City Lights, Blood Arrow, Brewster's Millions, the original one, not the one with Richard Pryor in it. Dangerous Passage, another Dangerous Passage, Enchanted Cottage, The Enemy Below with Robert Mitchum, Eve Knew Her Apples, St. Eve of Mark, or the Eve of St. Mark, sorry. Some of them have a couple inside. Instead of just one, it might have 3 or 4. Fort Massacre with Joel McCrea, Getting Gertie's Garter. Wow. The Class Slipper, The Good Fellow, Good Night Sweetheart, a couple of those. Gunman's Walk, He Hired the Boss. Here Comes the Jets. High Diddle Diddle. Holiday for Lovers, High Powered. Joan Davis and Kansas City Kitty. There's 3 of those. Window cards are printed on cardboard, or like a thicker board. Virginia Bruce, and this is Love, Honor, and Goodbye. There are 5 of those in here. Mom, Pa, Kettle at Home. Mail Order Bride. Man from Frisco. The Marriage Go Round. The Mating Game with Tony Randall and Debbie Reynolds. And then Molly and Me. Murder in Times Square, The Naked Earth. Grab 2 pages. New Kind of Love, Not a Ladies' Man. So these are all window cards. The Pleasure of His Company. That one's got Fred Astaire and Debbie Reynolds in it. So some great movie stars. Ride a Crooked Trail, Road to Alcatraz, First of the Finest at the Lowest Prices at the Victory Theater, Last of the Gangsters, Scream in the Dark, a couple of the Scream in the Dark, Strange Affair, Stranger in My Arms, Ann Baxter, One Tall Story, Tars and Spars, These Thousand Hills, and most of these movies are 1940s and early 50s. Two-Man Submarine, Walk the Proud Line, Wild Heritage, it's 1958, so we're getting into a little later 50s. Wind Across the Everglades. You can see they used to write the day it would show up at the top. That's why most window cards have a white area at the top. So George Brenton Marshall, Robert Denay, James Pratt, and I believe that is it for this album, except for Tarzan's Greatest Adventure. So obviously you can see that's Window Cards book number 2, which means that there is a Window Cards book number 1 somewhere. So these are press books. King of the Bandits. I'll try to move this out of the way. Okay. I'll try to move this into frame so you guys can kind of see both. Okay. There you go. Lash LaRue. It's 1944, 1947. Jimmy Welke, 1948. This guy put wallpaper between his pages just to give him a little more strength. Stage to Thunder Rock, Sabu and the Black Panther. I haven't actually been through all of these myself. So The Cowboy and the Blonde. It's got George Montgomery in it. Outcast of Black Mesa. Play It As It Lays. And this is a Doug Wildey Ward Bond drawing. So like there's some original art in these. So it's supposed to be Sean Connery there, Audie Murphy over here. And then this was probably from a fan club for Paul Anka. And I think that is all that is in this album. Maybe one of them had some empty space. So that's all that's in this album. I'll move that and get it out of the way. And then this is a little more difficult to do. So I'm going to have to move the camera again. Okay, and now these are movie inserts. These are about 40 inches tall. So this is Robert Mitchum and the Battle for Anzio. As you can see, some of them are beautiful, 1950s and 40s, a lot of them. There's a few that are 60s. Got Two Tickets to Paris, George Montgomery and the Black Patch. So most of these are 1950s. 1965. 1950s again. That one has Bob Hope, Eva Marie Saint, and George Sanders in it. This one's got Dean Martin and Stella Stevens. How to Save a Marriage and Ruin Your Life. This one's Dean Martin and Lana Turner. This one here, really cool. Who's got the action? Every Little Crook and Nanny. 1964. Dean Martin and George Pepper. Rough Night in Jericho. The Big Gamble. The Enemy Below. Van Johnson. Fargo Phantom. This one, Joel Brenner, Flight from a Shia. Gumshoe. Johnny Mac Brown, this one's 1940s, and Frontier Feud. Guns of Darkness, 1960s. Dean Martin. Cash on Demand, 1958. Kirk Douglas and The Hook. Then Richard Burton, Barbara Rush, and Jack Carson. Angie Dickinson in The Bramble Bush from 1959. So there were some great posters. You know, nothing along the lines of like an original Gone with the Wind or any super cool, you know, monster movies. But like, you know, there's definitely major stars. Shirley MacLaine. In this one, you saw Clark Gable earlier. Since Gregory Peck, Tuesday Weld, and I Walk the Line. That's the Johnny Cash movie. And some of these movies that they've remade over the years. But I love this stuff. I just think it's art, and it's underappreciated on the market. You know, a movie insert, unless it's monster related, like even the war stuff with Nazi symbols and stuff like that, with swastikas, and just beautiful art. You know, most of the stuff can be bought for under $1,000, where I just think it's unappreciated as art, or underappreciated. There are a few rare exceptions. You know, I mean, obviously a Gone with the Wind insert would be a lot of money. You know, Casablanca, any of the monster movies at all, any of the Universal monster movies bring really good money. So, just kind of like if it's one of your classic movies, they seem to do a little bit better. But most of the other stuff, a lot of these you can actually, you know, purchase around for $40 to $100 a piece. There's a few that are probably $150 or $200, maybe a little bit better. Like this one's Charlton Heston, The Pigeon That Took Rome. This one's Tony Curtis in The Rat Race and Debbie Reynolds. Shirley MacLaine, A Bliss of Lotham. Return of Mr. Moto. That's kind of cool. The Secret of Blood Island. Peter Fox in this one, The Secret of the Purple Reef. Paul Douglas, Solid Entertainment. Jack Nicholson, Postman Always Rings Twice. Storm Over the Nile. This one's Rock Hudson in Strange Bedfellows. Subway in the Sky. Tears for Simon. I will move this book and give you guys the next book. Okay, this is the next book of inserts. Like I said, I only brought over a little bit of this stuff. So this is about a hootenanny. It's called The Young Swingers. 12 Hours to Kill. That one's got Barbara Eden in it. This is Rod Cameron in Yukai Drums. Story of Esther Costello, and Joan Crawford has that. Damn Citizen. It's a very cool one. Battle Hell, As Young as We Are. See you, Alana. Tony Curtis, Dean Martin, and Janet Leigh. And Who Was That Lady? Going Steady, Circle of Deception. So a lot of 50s movies. Pearl Bailey, so Virginia Maskell, Paul Rogers, Young and Willing. So and these have been kept in really good shape in this guy's collection for a long time. He was a buyer and seller dealer, and just had, you know, a mass amount of stuff when we got the call and went and bought it all. So Beachhead with Tony Curtis. This one's Oliver. Catlow, Wolf Larson. And this one's based on Jack London, Beast of the Seven Seas, 1958. Let me move this over just a little bit so it doesn't fall off the table. Susan Hayward and Woman Assessed. Those Redheads from Seattle. That one had Rhonda Fleming in it. George Segal and Jane Fonda, Fun with Dick and Jane. Upstairs and Downstairs. Weekend with Father. Yesterday's Enemy, Lucy Gallant, Joe Mills, Charles Coburn, Barbara Bates, Town on Trial, and Waves and Lovers. Shelley Winters was in that one. The Third Secret, Under 10 Flags, Two Flags West, Up Periscope. So there's a ton of great movies. Lots of cowboy, lots of western. You know, When You Come Back, Red Ryder. Then there's a lot of military movies. Shelley Winters is in this one. Johnny Mac Brown in Border Bandits, 10th Avenue Angel. Frankie Avalon is in this one, so it would have been semi-musical. That one's cool. Sailed a Crooked Ship. Walter Matthau's in this one, Plaza Suite. And the last one in this box is Thundering Jets with the cool guy in his flight suit. And then I'll show these two guys quick, and that will be the end of this part of the video. So Cage of Evil, 1960. Newest Tarzan, so this is 1962, and Tarzan Goes to India. And again, I'm sorry about the glare. We have overhead lights, 1962 Samar. And to do this with one person, it's a little tougher. So Court Martial. Password is Courage. And these are all in sleeves. Generally, when you get these, or when movie theaters got these, they were folded, so you'll see fold lines in them. And I'll show you guys down here. When you see these numbers, one is an NSS number, which would be National Screen Services. So that was the year that was the movie number of that year. So this is 64312. So this was the 312th movie of 1964. I don't know if that's based off of that was Warner Brothers' 312th movie, or if it's all movies from that year. So Underwater City. So hopefully that shows you guys when you're looking at movie posters. If you do see an R in front of the numbers, so like this one is 56. Oh, see if we can get it to focus. There we go. 56350. If it was R-56, it would mean that it was a reissue and that there would have been an earlier issue. So like a first printing does not have an R. So Richard Chamberlain, Twilight of Honor. There are some on the backs. I forgot to show you all of them. But most of them are something on the back and the front, and it gets your gun. So hopefully you guys enjoy seeing the old movie posters and the artwork that went into making them. And, you know, to me, they were just beautiful, great for man caves, restaurants, stores, all of those type of things. And they're still very reasonable to buy, especially for the age of them and how large they were for movie posters with actors and actresses. And obviously, anytime something happens to one of those actors or actresses, they pass away or whatever, there's a real upsurge of sales of anything to do with them. But as you can see, you know, we have quite a bit from this collection left. And like I said, this will be just part 2. Part 1 was showing you guys the actual purchase. So this will be part 2. There'll probably be at least 2 more